Has she ever forgiven you? But every once in a while, she'll bring the situation back up. In episode number 178 of Making a Case, we talking about why she forgive you, but she'll never forget. Let's get it. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? We back with another episode of Making a Case, episode number 178. We're talking about why women will forgive you, but they'll never forget. Okay. I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We got two channel norms over here. One, we attack points and not people. And then two, we don't do all that cussing derogatory stuff because we like to keep it professional. All right. Most men are gonna understand when I go over this scenario that I'm about to go over it. And ladies, let's just be real. If you're honest with yourself, you know you probably done this before, right? So a young man, a gentleman has, done some egregious, right? It doesn't have to be major, such as cheating, right? It could be something as small as, he lied about where he was going. Let's take it that direction, right? The young lady finds out, right? So of course she's upset, right? Because they have this whole argument and blow up about why he lied and things of that nature. And now she's questioning his intention. Why did he do it? Well, was he going to cheat? So all those questions come up, right? So of course she forgives him naturally, right? They stay together, but just every once in a while when he says that he's going to go a certain place, guess what? She's thinking, is he really going that place he's telling me he's going? Okay. And that's how it usually happens, right? It can only happen one time, and a woman is never going to forget it. Okay. She's going to forgive you, but she's not going to forget it. And that's just how women operate. Now, ladies, tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. So in today's episode, we're going to kind of break down why this is the case, and some psychological stuff behind it, right? As you know, we always do deep dives on this channel. So we're going to just have the conversation. All right. So I got a few video clips for you. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Women have 52% less serotonin than men.
I did not.
Which is why if you make them mad, they're never going to forget it because it stimulates the part of their brain that keeps them stuck. And why women are at twice the risk of depression as men.
The predisposition to rumination, to being stuck on thought patterns.
Yes.
Okay.
They also have better frontal lobes, though. So I published a study on 46,000 brains and looking at differences between male and female brains, and women have much better frontal lobe function, which is why they go to jail 14 times less than men do.
I would imagine the testosterone plays a role there as well.
It does, but also the lack of forethought.
Risk-taking behavior.
If I do this, I'm more likely to be in a cage than if I don't do that. Did you know women have 52%?
Now that's interesting. I did not know that stat that he brought up, 52% less serotonin. So the reason why women don't forgive, or don't forget, but they'll forgive you, is because what you did is going to come back up in their brain again, right? Now, how they process it is probably based on context and based on every woman, but it's going to come back around. That pattern recognition is going to come back around, and depending on how strong your relationship is, that it may be a good thing and it may be a bad thing, right? But I would say that, for the ladies out there, right, if you know it's something that is really going to bother you moving forward, you may want to think about whether or not you should continue in that relationship. I'm not telling you to break up. I'm just saying that if you know that, you're not going to truly forgive him. I'm not even saying you have to forget, but if you're not going to truly forgive him and not bring it back up and put it back in his face when it seems convenient, then it's kind of not fair to him and it's really not fair to you. All right. Let's go on to our next clip.
And that you can forgive, but you can also remember. You can remember without holding a grudge, because that's the separating factor. Is like, you don't want to go into your future holding a grudge about something, but you also don't want to go into your future being like blind to like all of the shady shit that happened to you by this person in the past and letting them continue to walk all over you. So you can forgive, but you can't forget, and you can't also hold a grudge. So I hope that made sense. You have to
It
understand.
doesn't. But once again, that's a woman's logic, right? And I'm not saying some men don't think this way, because some men probably do. But you're saying to, or she's saying to, forgive them, but don't forget, but don't hold a grudge. Can all of that actually happen? Particularly with a woman? I think not, right? So this what I would suggest, right? I would suggest that you forgive until a time comes up where, like the last video was saying, we're talking about pattern recognition, right? You forgive, let it go, right? Unless it happens again, right? Because if it happened again, it's not just once, it's twice. Then it happened 3 times, you definitely gotta forget, forgiving it. You probably need to just get out that relationship, because now it is a pattern, it is a habit, right? So I suggest is just forgive, let it go, right? Let it go out your memory, right? So, because once again, if it happened again, you're gonna think back and be like, oh, I remember you did this last time. Why are you doing this again? Right? So that would be my suggestion. I don't know, what she's talking about, but I got another clip for you. Let's go.
Person, but you hang on to the anger, the pain, and the hurt, and you say you forgave the person, then you don't understand what forgiveness really is. Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. What you don't understand about not experiencing true forgiveness, not letting it go, was explained to me this way. When you don't forgive a person, it's like you drinking the poison, waiting on them to die. If you forgive a person,
And I don't disagree with what Steve Harvey said, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest Steve Harvey fan. But what he said right there, definitely made a lot of sense. I mean, we've all heard it before, right? Forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you, because a lot of people will just hold on this resentment, and then they'll just keep eating at them, eating it, and stay with the other person, whether that's a romantic partner, a friend, or family. Family is a little bit different, even though you can choose to kind of separate yourself from family. But um, so for me, I don't understand the need to, hold a grudge against someone if I say I forgave them, because let's be honest, we all have transgressions, right? Now, some are on the larger magnitude and some are on the less. But you know, nonetheless, we all, do things that are not savory. So it would be very hypocritical of us to not forgive, right? Forgiveness is just a part of the life cycle, the process, as human beings. So um in order for us to really rectify it, we would really have to look at a situation and be like, you know what, like there's no way I can come back from this, right? Because you've done me, and like I said, to me, it's the pattern. It's the someone does the same thing multiple times, right? The intentions behind it is important. Um, so that's how I view forgiveness. But I know to each his own. All right. But we're gonna wrap this episode up with that. As always, y'all know I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Please comment. What do you think about forgiveness, forgiving people? What is your process? Let's talk about it. All right. But as always, I am you, you are me. Love always, love eternal. Remember, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself, and we are out. Deuces. One love.